where are you right now? Is it 2026, here I come, woo! Or is it stop, let's slow this down a bit? Well, honestly, I'm somewhere in between. I'm leaning towards here I come, but well, I'm not fully there yet. If you are in a similar place, then I'm really glad you're here, because today I love for us to walk this together. To find that little extra push, that bit of like spring in the steps. So we don't just enter 2026. We step into it with curiosity and intention. I'm Hanna Zaxmy, your leadership coach, and this podcast is your confidence boost in color. Let's go. So before we move forward, I want to pause for a moment. Did you listen to the previous episode? And did you actually take the time to do the reflections there? Normally, I would say that you can come back to that later, but today I'm actually suggesting something else. If you haven't listened to the previous episode yet, so I really encourage you to pause this one and head back to that first. Because last time we focused on something important. We created a current position, a marker on the map saying, this is where I am right now. And there are two reasons why this matters. First, it helps us to see what's working. And second part is that it helps us to see what's not working as intended. And both are equally important and valuable. Because even when I wish I could press a pause button and freeze time exactly where things feels good, life doesn't really work that way. Even if I choose not to change anything. So external changes still happens. So what I bring with me forward is what I've learned. What's useful, what supports me. And the rest, well, that can stay behind. I sometimes joke and say, like, it's a shame to make the same mistake twice. You might as well try something new. So I have been doing my own reflection on the past year. And one thing I did was actually to scroll through all the photos on my phone the entire year. Partly to remind myself of things I might have forgotten, and partly to get a bit of a flashback. And one reflection really stood out. I've taken more photos and videos than ever before. My camera roll is full of retakes, podcast clips and reels, and honestly, well, quite a lot of photos of me with very interesting facial expressions. And I'm genuinely proud of that, proud that I actually challenged myself, that I've tested new things, that I've become quicker at moving from idea to action. I've also become better at not being overly critical, thinking more like good enough for now, and then improving along the way. But there were also another insight that I got. I haven't taken so many photos for private reasons, moments with friends, time with my family. Now, my highest priority in those moments is, of course, always being present, being there. That part is absolutely happening, but next year I want a bit more balance, a few more memory anchors. So that was one of the things I'm bringing with me forward. And I'm curious, if you scroll through your year, what would you notice? Now that we have marked our current position on the map, I'd like us to do something else. Let's mark where we are heading. It's so easy to be wise afterwards, isn't it? So to look back and say, that's what I should have done. But what if we borrow that trick and used it now? So these days have a bit of a sparkle on them. There's glitter in the air, a sense of anticipation. So let's lean into that. So imagine this. You're invited to a New Year party. This one is a year from today. We are welcoming 2027. You're warmly invited. Come with me. Can you hear the buzz of voices? the soft hum of conversations in the background. I have invited quite a crowd. There are a lot of familiar faces, as you see, and of course, one of your closest friends as well. Someone you haven't seen for a while. And they've already asked when you're arriving, so come on, let's step inside. Before I leave you to enjoy the evening, I'm a bit curious. Can you tell me about the positive change that has happened this year for you? Because a year ago, you shared with me that where you were aiming for, what matters most for you. And now you're here and celebrating it. What are the biggest difference you have noticed? What have been your biggest aha moments? Was there something specific you did or something you kept reminding yourself along the way? Maybe something someone else said that really stayed with you. Yeah, I can see it in you. This matters. What does the feeling in your body tell you right now? Is it calm or is it energetic? Warm or cool? Whenever I reflect on something I'm proud of, I like really to amplify that feeling so I can come back to it again and again. And before I let you go off to mingle, tell me this. What were the 3 key milestones this past year that truly mattered? Was there internal in you or was it external milestones? How have you grown and what has shifted around you? If you had to summarize the year with one word, what would that be? Well, now, go and mingle for a moment. This party is here to celebrate you. Oh yeah, one more thing. Before I let you disappear into the crowd, who would you love to see to step onto the stage to say a few words in your honor? Tell me. Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps. Look at this. Take it in. Really listen to what's being said about you. And before you head off, can I ask you for a small favor? I'd love to take a photo with you. I realized that last year that I really had missed out on capturing some of those really special moments. So now I love to remember this one. And yet, you can take one too, so you can remember this as well. Did you get it? Good. Hold on to that image. And just like that, we step back into the present right here on the edge of 2025 and 2026. I hope you captured a few mental images from that celebration, because what you notice there is incredibly valuable for what comes next. So now, here's the key. What matters most now is movement, not speed, movement. So let's make this as simple as possible. Bring out what you reflected on in the previous episode, like those different areas of your life. We spoke about family, work, like personal development, etc. Rate each one between 0 and 10, where 10 feels complete and aligned. Which area is lowest right now? Look back at what you wrote last time. What would make it just one step better? Like from a 6 to a 7, for example. Now write down 3 to 5 small actions or tests you could do to move that in that direction. Small means something you can do already within 24 hours. So choose the easiest one, start there, and make yourself a promise. You'll do this within the next day. If you want, you can even leave a comment on the podcast sharing what you have chosen. That kind of accountability really helps. Ask yourself why this small step matters. How does it connect back to that New Year's celebration a year from now? I would like to share something with you before we move on, because this exact moment standing between like reflection and action is very often where I meet my clients. One client I have been working with recently came to me during the autumn, and she was really capable, experienced, and from the outside everything looked fine. But she said to me, I have a vague idea on where I want to go, but I don't feel like I'm moving. And honestly, I'm not even sure if I dare to move. She had done a lot of reflection, but she'd become stuck there. She was only looking at a limited part of her life, not seeing how all the different pieces actually build her everyday reality. So that's where we started. She began to see how everything was connected, how one area influenced another, how energy, priorities, work, relationships, they all play a part. From there, we worked on creating clarity around where she wanted to direct her focus. Her vision became more tangible, almost as if she has already been there. And once that happened, it was like a big stop sign was removed. She could suddenly see what to do next, and the movement began. Small intentional steps, one decision at a time. Later she told me that what made the biggest difference wasn't that things suddenly became easy, it was that she had stopped carrying everything on her own. She had space to think out loud, to test her thoughts, to be both ambitious and human at the same time. And here's what really stayed with me. When we started, she believed it would take her around like 9 months or so to reach the milestone she had in mind. She passed it already just over 2. Not because she pushed harder, but because she became so much clearer, more anchored, more confident in her direction. And because she focused on what she actually had the possibility to do and what was in her power, so to say. And she said, I've taken so many big decisions in a short time, and they felt 100% like me. I'm actually feeling so much calmer now. That's the difference confidence makes. If you recognize yourself in that story, if you have a knowing that you want to head to something different, but feels like you're standing right on the edge of movement, then I want you to know this. You don't have to figure it out on your own. This is exactly what I support my clients with in individual coaching. Not fixing, not pushing, but creating clarity, holding focus, and turning reflection into actions, step by step, calmly, confidently, in a way that's sustainable for you. If you're curious about what that could look like, you're very welcome to reach out to me. Sometimes one aligned conversation is enough to create real movement. Confidence is something I want you to build in who you are and in what you do, both in how you lead yourself and how you lead others. Because confidence in your direction makes it easier to navigate obstacles along the way. And yes, there will be obstacles. Not every day is like that glitter and celebration. Sometimes we practice trying again and again, or doing something differently. That's why confidence in your why matters. Today we spent a lot of time with C for clarity and O for ownership. We touched upon nurture, focus, and next step 2. Yes, I'm talking about this in the confident framework. Through small actions and gentle momentum. And next time, we'll go deeper, because clarity without values can easily turn into just another performance. So next episode is all about values and why they're essential if you want direction that actually lasts. So before we close, I really appreciate it if you follow the podcast, like the episode or left a comment. It truly means a lot. It helps the podcast to reach more people, and it allows us to keep building confident leadership. And if this episode stirred something deeper, you'll find ways to connect with me in the show notes. So, where are you right now? Is it like, stop, let's slow this down, or 2026, here I come, woohoo! Let's do this now. Here's to you. Be confident, be you.